Let's talk about pronouns in the workplace. Yeah, we're going there. There are 4 levels of pronouns you can use for yourself depending on how much credit you want to take for something. On one end is all the credit, and on the other end, I wasn't even there. You know, I really knocked that project out of the park. I'm proud of myself for what I achieved. Look, we had our challenges in delivering, but we learned from it and we can move forward. I mean, everybody thought what our company was doing was not a Ponzi scheme. Look, nobody could have known that Yemen is a sanctioned country. Them using child labor? Unknowable. Do you have an awful task you need to get done, but you know if you try to delegate it, your employees are going to get upset with you? This magical little technique will get your employees doing the work you don't want to and be grateful for it. It's called the door-in face technique. This is where you prime them with a task that's so awful, anything in comparison seems pretty good. First thing to do, make up some completely ridiculous piece of work that you know is outside of their capabilities. Then ask them to do it. Oh, Joe, just the man I was looking for. The business needs a new Power BI dashboard for the insurance claims process, and they need it by Friday. I've never used Power BI, and I didn't even know we did insurance. Are you sure we do that? Oh, geez, how can we make this work? Look, I'll take care of it, but I need to free up my diary. Do you mind just taking care of the Penske file? Due Friday, mate. Oh, yeah, definitely. I can do that for you, boss. No worries. Oh, you know me, Joe. I'm always happy to jump on the grenade for you, but you owe me one, mate. Having relatives, friends, or lovers working with you in a corporate environment is like having a superpower, but you need to keep it a secret from everybody. You can leverage these relationships to influence business decisions, all while it looks like it's done at arm's length. And yeah, that's why it's really critical for our business for your team to be doing this new process. Yeah, look, I hear what you're saying, but it's just not gonna work. Yeah, it can't work and it won't work. No chance. Oh, really? I really thought I was onto a good idea here. It's really just not a good idea at all. It's a really, really bad idea. And really, you should feel quite bad for wasting both Billy's time and my time on this nonsense. Ugh. Do you know how much free money people get for having a baby? In some countries, weeks, months, or even a year worth of wages is paid to them. Why should you be discriminated against just because you choose not to make another planet-destroying resource sucker? Making a fake family is the easiest thing in the world, especially as a bloke, because you don't even need to get pregnant. And don't worry, no one will ever question you, because what sort of psychopath would make up a fake family? All you need to do is go into image generation AI, rub that spot around your arms out, and write man with baby. Boom, 48 weeks pay. If you're a woman, do the exact same thing just a month earlier with the word pregnant. If you're a worker with a baby or a baby because you followed my previous advice, this one technique will get you out of any meeting. First, set up a button on your phone to play baby sounds. Then when you're in a boring Zoom meeting, press the button and look over your shoulder annoyed. Then you just need to say, oh look, sorry, I gotta take care of this. Can you just send me the meeting notes? I gotta go. Then you can just leave the meeting and get back to the things that really matter in life. Giving negative feedback to your idiot employees is probably the hardest thing any corporate manager needs to learn. But don't you worry, there's a technique to make it easier. It's called the compliment sandwich. This is where you take the criticism you actually want to give the employee and you stuff it between 2 compliments, like a sandwich. Oh, Joe, you're so funny. You always make me laugh. You got such a good sense of humor. You know when I really laughed, though? When you sent me that client contract to review. The terms and conditions, they were the real joke, Joe. Keep up the good vibes. The best way to improve your relationship with your employees is a technique called Tribalism. Next time you're chatting with one of them and they say something even mildly negative about someone else in the business, escalate that emotion. So I've been trying to get those requirements out, but it's been 2 days and Joe still hasn't peer reviewed them. Oh, that Joe. What are we going to do with him? Starting to let the team down a bit, don't you think? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Make sure to keep building on the sentiment whenever you talk to that employee. Joe hasn't responded to my Teams message for 30 minutes. Joe, more like joke. Remember, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Here's how you can sabotage your enemies in the workplace. First, you gotta be really patient and wait until you have the perfect email to send them. Something that's really important to the business and that they need to be prompted by you to do. Be very specific on the detail about what you need done and when you need it by. John, this potential client could cost us millions. Can you get the Penske file done by Friday? Add your boss and their boss to the CC and put it in your drafts ready to go. Next time you're both in the office, sit right next to the person. Joe, good to see ya. Hi, Tom. At some point, they'll get up from their desk to make themselves a cup of tea or go to the toilet and probably leave their computer unlocked. This is where you pounce. Once they're out of eyesight, send the email to them, go in their computer, mark it as read and file it away. At about 4 p.m. on Friday, send them a follow-up email asking for an update, CCing in both your bosses. Not only have you made them look completely incompetent, they're gonna have to waste their weekend trying to catch up. You can't just go and hit on the hot girl in the office. You'll get a HR complaint raised against you. Again. Hey Sally, that dress looks amazing on you. Ugh. Instead, make sure you compliment multiple co-workers, so instead of looking like a pervert, you're just eccentric. Hey John, love the haircut. Thanks, boss. Hey Sally, that dress looks amazing on you. Oh, thank you. And Joe, you know exactly what you're doing, and it's working. The only thing worse than a boring employee town hall is having to listen to the dumb questions afterwards. Avoid being these people. Number 1, the suck-up. Yes, please, me. Oh my God, what you've shared is so amazing. I am in awe of your vision. Can you just tell me, how do you do it? Number 2, the ultra-specific. This one's to the CTO. Citrix isn't working on my VPN. I raised a Jira ticket 2 days ago. Can you give me an update, please? Number 3, the I'm the main character. I just want to say that you running this company is sort of like me running a household with my 2 kids. You know, although I guess running the company isn't that hard. Number 4, the loaded question. With it being a rough year so none of us get bonuses, how come the entire management team was in Bali last week having an offsite? Do you actually have a question, ma'am? Oh yes, here's my question. How do you sleep at night? If you're in a hybrid office-home working arrangement, here's how to maximize the perception that you're working hard. Whenever you're in the office, choose to sit near people who you know are waiting for work from you. Spend your day doing the work you know they're waiting for, but don't send it to them. To avoid them following up on you, just look busy and frustrated. Trust me, no one will bother you. At the end of the day, schedule all the emails you've now completed to be sent to them over the coming days. Sprinkle a few of them to be sent out in all hours of the night, so it really looks like you're burning the midnight oil. Not only will everyone think you're so busy you couldn't get to their email at work, they'll think you stayed up all night just trying to catch up. When you're making a product recommendation to the business, don't waste time trying to understand the business need. Just purchase the most expensive solution. In every scenario, you come out on top. Scenario 1, it's the best product. As it's the most expensive product, it probably has the most features. More features means more chances for it to meet the business need that you don't understand anyway. Scenario 2, a cheaper product is better. If it doesn't meet the requirements and it turns out to be a mess, you can swoop in like the hero you are and recommend a cheaper product, saving the business money. Scenario 3, the business ignores your recommendation. If the business ignores your recommendation and goes for a cheaper product in the first place, your hands are clean. I told you it wouldn't work. I knew we should have gone with Tableau. This is how I trick my team into paying for my lunch and make them love me for it. I always volunteer to organize the team lunches and pick the restaurants. This makes me look like a leader and a team player. Now, when we go out, I don't often pay for their meals. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to bribe them or buy their love like my scumbag dad used to do. What my team don't know is I always book these lunches using discount apps. Oh, hi, yes, we have a booking for 8 for Tom. Oh, yes, Tom, you had the Groupon booking. Yes, we're a group with 1 booking. When it comes to pay, I just tell my team, split bills are so annoying for a restaurant. I'll just pay and I'll let you know what you owe me. They get to enjoy a great team lunch and I get to pocket the discount. Everybody wins. As a successful white man, I know my privilege and success has come at the cost of others. But I often worry young white men in this country don't see it the same way. That they see diversity in the workplace as some sort of threat, when really it's an opportunity. So I thought this just isn't good enough, and I decided to be the change I wanted to see in the world and do something about it. That's why I'm so proud to be launching the White Men for Diversity program, or WMD for short. WMD is a weapon, fighting for justice. A groundbreaking initiative that pairs successful white men like me with younger white men to teach them about the importance of diversity. It's my goal to give these young white men the guidance, counsel, and networking opportunities that will allow them to become future leaders who care about diversity. Because it's not enough to be a white man these days. You gotta be a woke man. Together, we can lead the way for a more diverse future. Look, I'm not saying child labor is a good thing. Nobody in their right mind would say that. An 11-year-old girl working in a Bangladeshi factory 10 hours a day is an absolute tragedy. But what I am saying is when your corporate compliance department cancels your contract with that very factory, you're not helping anyone. You're hurting everyone. You're hurting Halima, who loses her only way to feed and support her family. She could end up in a worse job or no job at all. She might starve, get sick, or something even worse. You're hurting the factory and everyone in Bangladesh as well, denying them the opportunity to help get that country out of poverty so they don't need child labor anymore. And you're hurting me. I'm gonna lose my big bonus because that contract was very lucrative. When it comes to business, perception is reality. Ow. That's why when you want to spread rumors around the office to destroy one of your rivals, you need to do it smartly and subtly. First of all, you never want to seem like you're the person that started the rumor. You're just broadly passing on some information that you heard. Hey, have you heard the news about Bob? No, I haven't. What is it? Secondly, make sure to use a quantifier like supposedly or allegedly. This makes the rumor sound more credible and, more importantly, protects you from slander. Apparently, he's running an illegal mahjong gambling ring from his home. At least that's what people are saying. Oh my god, that's crazy! And thirdly, layer one more detail on top that's not quite as bad as the original rumor. Since you've already smeared Bob with a worse rumor, this last little bit will be taken as fact. That's probably why he's always making excuses for missing deadlines. Makes sense. Here's the problem with the yearly bonus system in the corporate world. It doesn't work. You can't expect employees to be motivated 12 months a year when their only incentive comes around Christmas. That's why I've come up with a new system, a better system, a reverse bonus system. Studies have shown time and time again that the fear of losing something is a better motivator than the hope of gaining something. And the fear of losing money, Motivation City, baby! I let my team know their potential maximum bonus at the start of the year. Then I meticulously record every mistake, error, and offense they make through the year. I use a spreadsheet to track all this, and I subtract the corresponding amount from their bonus. So you are late to work on January 5th, you missed my Zoom call on January 17th,
a few moments later.
And then on December 17th, you use Comic Sans in that presentation. Disgusting. So how'd I do this year? You owe me $4,000. There are only two ways that we can overcome racism in the workplace. We have the option to work together to come to a mutual understanding that racism is a poison that divides us, that dehumanizes us, that denies us our full potential as a species. We can treat it as a problem that affects us all no matter where we come from or who we are. We can learn from each other, respect each other, and celebrate our diversity. We can build bridges instead of walls, dialogue instead of violence, and solidarity instead of hatred. We can work together to create a society where everyone is treated equal and valued and loved. The second option is genocide, but we should probably do the other thing. Ted Bundy was an evil, twisted serial killer who did unthinkable things to women. Here's what we can learn from him to be better in our corporate careers. Learning number one. Compassion. Ted faked compassion to help lure and manipulate his victims into helping him achieve his goals. We should show great care to others in the workplace, especially those that can influence our careers, even if we don't actually care. The more they trust us, the more value we can extract from them later. Just don't murder them like Ted did. Learning two. Ambition. Ted thought he was superior and entitled to everything. The first step up the rungs of the corporate ladder is to believe you're better than everyone else and you deserve it more than everyone else. Just don't murder them like Ted would have. Learning 3. Professionalism. Ted hid his dark side behind a mask of sanity. A squeaky clean appearance and reputation will prevent others from knowing your true nature, which hopefully isn't murdering like Ted's was. Being a corporate manager gives you a fantastic superpower, the power to delegate work. As a manager, you've earned the right to give away the work you don't want to do, but it's all about how you position it. The harder the bit of work, the more you can disguise it as being an upskilling exercise for your team. That way, when you dump the work you don't want to do on them, you're actually doing them a favor. Make sure that any work you have that's quite easy to do and has good visibility with management, you keep for yourself. You want your team to still think you're hands-on, even if you're just trying to hog the spotlight. Well, Joe, we've got 2 bits of work we need to get done this week. Project Petting Bunnies and Project Drink from the Poison Chalice. So you'll put me on Project Petting Bunnies, right? Drink up, matey. I treat people differently based on how they look, and I can't help it. But the thing is, you do the same thing, everyone does. It's called unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is when we make an instant judgment about someone based on their social group, like their race, gender, age, or religion. And here's the thing about unconscious biases. You can't stop them even if you know about them, because they're unconscious, unless... We here at Toxico have created an augmented reality app to eliminate unconscious biases once and for all. It's called Bias Buster. And it's so simple. Just put on your augmented reality headset, run the app, and boom, everybody looks the same. This ensures that no matter what somebody's age or race or gender or sexuality or disability is, I treat them the way they deserve to be treated, like a young, privileged white male.
Hey, my eyes are up here.
I have an apology to make. Recently, my company Toxico released an augmented reality app called Bias Buster. This is an app that lets you see everyone as equal by making them look like me, a white male. Because let's be honest, people like me have a lot of power and privilege in society, and we don't have to deal with the discrimination and oppression that others have to face. Thankfully, some activists have come forward and called me out for being a racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic bigot who is reinforcing the patriarchy and erasing the diversity of every human being on the face of the earth. I now see how there might have been some bad optics with the app, which is why I'm so excited to be announcing the release of Bias Buster version 2. Finally, you're no longer limited to white males. You can bust biases any way you want to.
Asian female, Blanca from Street Fighter. White male but old, sock puppet.
I keep hearing the same thing again and again from my proteges. Tom, I'm so sick of working hard. It's all too much for me. I'm gonna start slacking off. This is a social virus going around called quiet quitting, where workers start doing the bare minimum of their job. And you know what I tell people who think it's okay to quiet quit? I tell them that's pathetic. Have some self-respect. You need to be more ambitious. What sort of weak, pathetic, simple-minded person does the bare minimum of a job when you could be using that time to find a second job where you also do the bare minimum and save up money to retire early? Don't quit, double dip. Doing your job well is the worst career mistake anyone can make. Imagine you and your rival Lazy Larry are both widget makers. Your annual target is 1,000 widgets each. You spend the year working your backside off and you make 1,500 widgets, way above target. Larry, on the other hand, slacks off and only makes 500 widgets. He spends most of his time browsing anime catgirls online and sharing what he finds with your boss, who is also weirdly kind of into that. At the end of the year, a new position becomes available. Chief Officer of doing less and getting paid more. There are only 2 candidates that apply for the job. You and Lazy Larry, and your boss has a choice to make. If he chooses you, he loses 3/4 of his yearly widget manufacturing. Or he can choose Larry, who's already shown creativity and initiative to go above his role. The answer is obvious: how you get the raise that you deserve without having to do any real work. Step 1. Copy your current job description and paste it into ChatGPT with the prompt, please write a similar job description except for company XXX, where XXX is one of your company's competitors. competitors. Add in any benefits that you want but are currently missing in your role, such as flexible hours, free snacks, or company car. And finally, add a line about salary. State a figure 60 to 80% more than what you're currently earning. Rinse and repeat so you have 2 competitor resumes. Step 2, sign up for a job search engine as a recruiter and post these 2 jobs. This will set you back about $300 a role. Step 3, go to your boss and tell them that you love your job but you feel a bit underappreciated. Then send in the link to the 2 new jobs you've created and ask him to match the benefits and salaries. Here's the best bit. These made-up jobs look so good your boss might go and apply for one himself. And once you hire him, guess whose role you can take? You've been stuck in the same dead-end job for years, undervalued, underappreciated, and underpaid. You're drained, depressed, and done with the job. If you quit now, you're making a huge mistake. Do you have any idea how much your potential severance package is worth? And do you know how difficult it is for a big company to fire someone? You need to change the effort you're putting in day to day from this to this, the Goldilocks zone. This is where you do so little work that they want to get rid of you, but not so little that they can fire you. If they try to put you on a performance management plan, great, just focus on the bare minimum requirements of that plan and stop everything else. They can't touch you. Keep this up for a year and you'll be refreshed, relaxed, rejuvenated. And they'll be so fed up with you, they'll pay you to leave. Are you tired of working in a dull office and dream of working in a tropical paradise? Here's how you can do it in 3 easy steps. Step 1. Use a virtual background of a beach or a jungle in your video meetings. Wear sunglasses and a funky hat. Your co-workers will think you're quirky. Step 2. Show up to the office a couple days a week as per normal. Say hi to your boss and co-workers. Pretend you care about their boring lives. Step 3. Make up a long list of excuses as to why you can't come into the office. Be creative and unpredictable by using a mix of planned and unplanned excuses. For example,
I have a dentist appointment. My grandmother got arrested. My dog ate my car battery. My grandmother escaped from jail.
we all know that every business has its quiet period where nothing really gets done. December, where your boss assigns you some pointless busy work that makes you want to bang your head against the desk. But don't despair. There's a way to avoid this nightmare by setting your own priorities. You need to find something that ticks 3 boxes. 1, it needs to be a current business need. 2, it needs to sound important. And 3, it needs to be something that no one actually really cares about. What's the one thing that ticks all 3 of these boxes in every single business? That's right, documentation. I like to take it to the next level by telling everybody that I'm implementing a new document management system, because everyone already knows that documentation is a mess and nobody actually knows what a document management system actually is. Here's one simple trick that I use to expose the slackers in my business. First, I wait until we have a day where everyone's in the office. At 4 p.m, I loudly announce to my team that I have to leave because I have an appointment to get to. Instead of going to an appointment, I go downstairs and hide at the entrance of the office. Inevitably, one of my employees will try to leave the office early too. Oh, Tom, what are you doing here? I thought you had an appointment. It was cancelled. Interesting that you're down here when it's only 4:55 p.m. Oh. Next time I leave early, they won't dare do the same because they're terrified I'm waiting downstairs. Little do they know, I'm already at the pub getting on the beers. Repeat this every 3 months to maximize fear. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who deserves the biggest salary bonus of all? Why, you do, you beautiful, beautiful man. And how do I maximize my bonus? What you need to understand is that bonuses are like a big pie. The bigger the slice your team takes, the less there is for you. Create the narrative that the only reason your team has been able to meet their goals is thanks to your hard work and leadership, despite you having to deal with the most lazy and incompetent bunch of losers ever. So I take credit for all their achievements and blame them for my failures. Exactly. That way you get the lion's share of the pie and your team gets the crumbs. When it comes to deliver the bad news to the team, make sure to act as angry and disappointed as they are. Really? No bonus again? Yeah, I know, they really screwed us again this year. The office Christmas party is a great way to relax, unwind, and most of all, get dirt on your colleagues. Make sure to wear some festive eyewear with a camera in them. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, then irrefutable video evidence is worth $1,000. You need to go to the one magical place where most of the scandals happen, the toilets. You might catch your co-workers popping pills, spewing their guts out, or if you're really lucky, a steamy affair between your boss and his assistant. The trick is to wait until you hear any noises in the toilets that are out of the ordinary. Then barge in and say, "Is everything okay in here?" That makes you seem like a concerned colleague instead of a weirdo creep. Tonight's mess is tomorrow's success.